Idle Hands. Now, Idle Hands is a horror comedy. Well, we did horror comedy, I think, just in the last one, and that didn't go so well. Oh no. But this one, Idle Hands, is a horror comedy from 1999. And as you would expect, as a comedy from 1999, a lot of pot-smoking references, a lot of jokes based on that kind of thing. One of the main stars in here actually is Seth Green. He's not the lead in this movie. That would be Devon Sawa, this guy. And, of course, Jessica Alba's in it. And also, right there, Eldon Henson. Now, you may recognize him from Daredevil as Foggy Nelson. But yeah, it's a horror comedy. So what does horror comedy mean? Well, okay, it's got horror elements in it, more so than just reference to an old vampire story, like in Dracula Dead and Loving It. And that's the last time I'm going to talk about that. Yeah, this one, basically, I'm not sure if it's like voodoo or it's like demonic possession sort of thing. Apparently, the main character, who's this like slacker stoner, gets his one hand possessed by the devil or a demon or something. And anyway, it comes to life and it actually kills people, and he's unaware of this thing killing people at first, or he has no control over it, and then it actually tries to kill him. And it's that, I've seen this before in movies, specifically The Evil Dead, where the one hand is like, oh my god, my hand is alive and it's trying to kill me. Like, I don't know, the actor does a pretty funny job of that in here. That's not the whole main focus of the movie, but there's a lot of scenes of that. Yeah, his hand gets possessed and he goes around killing people with the hand, and he's trying to stop it, and he inadvertently kills his parents. He kills his two best friends, his like pot-smoking buddies or whatever. But they, for some reason, come back from the dead. They're undead. They're not zombies, but they're undead. Seth Green and Eldon Henson, I think, are pretty funny in their roles here. Seth Green, of course, from Robot Chicken. He was on the 70s show. He was all kinds of comedy movies. Seth Green has been around forever, and if you don't know who Seth Green is, go look him up on Wikipedia or IMDb right now, and get back to me when you're cool, okay? Yeah, so the humor is pretty good. Like, they're the sidekick characters. They come back from the dead, and one guy's got a bottle stuck in his head, and the other guy had his head cut off, and either carries it around under his arm or he like duct tapes it onto his neck, and it's pretty funny. I mean, and it's kind of gory too. Like, it's not heavy gore, but there's like, this is a horror movie. It really is. It's like a horror premise, but they make as many jokes as they can with this, and they take the premise to ridiculous places. And I think it works. It's not a masterpiece of comedy or anything like that. It is a nice little slice of the year 2000 comedy. Well, 1999, you know what I mean. So the effects are, whatever. I think they're actually pretty good. They're like practical effects. I don't think there's too much in the way of CGI here. Maybe on the animated hand. Because, of course, at one point, main character has to cut off his own hand, because his hand is just evil, but the hand escapes, and then it proceeds to like terrorize all the people at this high school dance and kill people there, and even kills the lead singer of The Offspring, which, The Offspring is in this movie. So that gives you a good snapshot of the year 1999. You get some side characters in there, like you get the metalhead dude that basically just kind of is there for jokes, really, and he's kind of a funny character, Randy, the metalhead dude. And Jessica Alba in here, her character is ridiculous. She's this like drop-dead gorgeous, but she's like a poet and a songwriter and stuff like that. And there's this like creepy kid, our main protagonist, that lives across the street and has like watched her through his window and stuff, and kind of like stalks her. And yet she's like, oh, hey, you must really like me. Would you want to come in? And then he starts acting all weird with his possessed hand and stuff. And then like totally falls for him and falls in love with him. And she like, it's really weird. And it's completely unbelievable. But a horror comedy. Okay, do you want it to be believable? But yeah, and she like falls in love with him, and then she becomes the target of the hand later, who wants to, the hand wants to like sacrifice her to this demon or whatever. And then there's like this demon hunter lady out there played by Vivica Fox. She's really just there for exposition, you know. She's there to explain that demonic forces have taken over your hand, and the hand's going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And this is how we kill it. That kind of thing. I laughed at most of the jokes. I'm a sucker for, I guess, 1999 level of stoner humor, I suppose. Overall, there's some pretty funny sight gags in here. Some pretty funny jokes, like the one where the dude with that gets his head severed, and they try and put his head back on his body and duct tape it on there, and he tries to eat something later, and it's all oozing out of his neck and everything. Like that got me, and that was hilarious. I don't know. Idle Hands. I mean, it's not a big blockbuster or anything like that. It's got a couple of recognizable actors. It's probably didn't cost a whole lot to make. It was just thrown out there in the theaters. I don't even think this made very much money. I think it was probably a flop, but I liked it. I thought it was funny, and once again, I feel like I'm kind of cheating you here, because horror comedy is not really horror, but it has horror in the title, so then it qualifies for my October Horror-thon. So there you go. I like this more than I thought I would. I actually, the first time I saw this movie, probably 2000, 2001, saw it on VHS. I liked it, but I just didn't really remember it, and I hadn't even thought of this movie until it popped up again on the thrift store shelves in the VHS section, and I was like, Idle Hand. Is that the one with Seth Green where the guy has cut off his own hand and his hand is possessed? And yep, that was the one. I think on this second viewing, I think I enjoyed it even more, because it was because it reminded me of what I used to find funny back in the day, and it reminded me of how entertainment kind of was in 1999, and the level of expectations that I had for movies back then, not as high as they are now. I'm going to give it a modest B minus. It's not a fantastic movie. It's not like everybody drop what you're doing and go see this movie. You'll get a chuckle out of it, I think, if you like horror comedy movies, especially something even in the vein of like Evil Dead. It's not going to be as gross or freak out as that movie, but it's got some laughs based on that kind of gore and horror. Anyway, I hope you enjoy these videos, and I guess until next time, have a good one, everybody.